Welcome to my first Reddit story. Creepy Pizza Delivery Guy. OP is, I believe, a woman. This was posted 2 years ago on the subreddit r/Creepyencounters. So me and my boyfriend like going out dancing on the weekend, which always ends with us stumbling into our favorite pizza place before joining the taxi queue. We've done this most weekends for over a year now, so I've become somewhat friendly with the guys who own the pizzeria. They know us by name and always make a bit fuss over us, and offers us discounts every time. Now here's where it gets freaky. Last night, a Sunday night, at 11 PM, my boyfriend and I were in bed because we both had work this morning. My phone started ringing, which was weird for that time of night, and I saw that it was an unknown number, so I ignored it. Next thing we know, there's someone knocking on the front door. All the lights in the house were off, so we were clearly in bed or not in. I had another call from the same number, and then a person started hammering on the door and flickering the letterbox. My boyfriend got up and answered it, even though I was a little bit shaken up and warned enough to. If I had been alone in the house, I never would have answered. So he goes downstairs to answer the door. And lo and behold, it's one of the guys from the pizzeria, holding 2 freshly cooked pizzas that we didn't order. He said not to tell the other guys at the shop, but they were a gift from him to us, his favorite customers. My boyfriend took them, thanked him, but we couldn't get back to sleep for hours. We just felt odd about it. We have ordered their ones from takeaway, so that's clearly how he got the address and my phone number. But it's still weird, right? Comment. Weird. I wonder if he thought you'd be home alone, which is a scary thought. I had a pizza delivery encounter a couple of years ago. I answered the door and he fidgeted longer than needed to hand me the pizza. He didn't say anything, but I don't know, he gave me a weird feeling. And I even said it to my roommate when I came back in. Minutes later he requested me on Facebook, which creeped me the f*** out. I decided to Google his name and looked at his docket. I'm a nosy bitch anyway, but I had to find out his deal. And the first search result is a news article about him impersonating a police officer and kidnapping someone. He had charges before that harassment too, so now I'm a little bit paranoid. I think like a week later I was pumping gas, and I look over and he's at the red light just staring me down. Nothing further happened. I don't think he worked out that long. But I definitely should have said something to the pizza place, because somebody with that record should not be a delivery driver. I'm not saying that he shouldn't work, he can cook the pizzas, but he shouldn't have access to people's info and go into their homes. I would maybe let the manager know, or maybe your BF could talk to them. Either way, I'd keep alert, because he came after hours. Who knows if he'll do it again. OP answers, wow, that's so creepy. I know what you mean about the weird feeling. You should always trust your gut. I'm glad nothing else untoward happened to you. They definitely shouldn't have someone like that be able to access the customer's information. I wonder how often these things get overlooked. It's a scary thought. My boyfriend is going to have a word with the manager next time we're in town. If it had been earlier in the day, and he had said that it was a cancel order or something, it probably wouldn't have been so weird, but to be out so late and literally knock us awake just to give us 2 pizzas that we didn't order is so freaky. So I'm gonna shoot something in there. On the note of Uber Eats not checking people's records and literally hiring a guy who was arrested for impersonating a police officer and kidnapping someone, that's insane. And clearly the guy hadn't learned his lesson. I have a little story about hiring practices and about what some bosses find acceptable. So there was this guy who worked in a different branch of the same company that I worked at, and he had a really messed up family. His dad was abusing his sister and looking at CP. So the police showed up and seized all the electronics in his household. And I remember saying that, why are they seizing his electronics? It's his dad under investigation. Well, it turns out that he was also looking at CP. So they both went to jail for it. Now, he did his time, and that's the argument his previous boss used when he was thinking about rehiring him, which my boss at the time told me about. And then it was reiterated by one of my previous colleagues when she came to my workplace, freaked out that she would potentially have to work with a predator. Thankfully, I don't know if he was convinced by someone, but he didn't end up hiring him again. Another commenter says, that's very strange. It seems to be a very odd time to be delivering pizzas to your house. Maybe he thought that you didn't live with your boyfriend. My guess is that he got off work and wanted to bring you pizzas and was hoping that you would invite him in. He said not to tell the other guys at the shop. Seems suspicious as well. He knows that what he's doing isn't professional, so he's keeping his co-workers from finding out. I think you should call the manager and tell him what happened. That delivery guy shouldn't have access to your personal contact information and coming to your house late at night. I'm glad your boyfriend was the one that answered the door and that you were safe upstairs. OP responds, that's such a scary thought. He has delivered to our house before, when I was alone, so it makes sense he was checking to see if I lived alone. That's pretty freaky. And then the commenter says, I would suggest you place a camera facing the street to check if he's returning to your house and parking to watch you. Document every encounter and sighting. Save any messages and texts. You should avoid going back to the pizza place and have no contact with him. He's a total creep. I'm going to shoot something in here, and this might have been a bit of an oversight from the OP. In the initial post, the OP says that she had gotten a delivery from the pizzeria once, and that's how the delivery guy got the address. It seems odd that she wouldn't mention that it was that same guy delivering that pie. Maybe she forgot that she had gotten more than one delivery from the same place, or maybe this story is fake. The OP and the commenter also talk about professionality, and I have a little story about professionality. So one of my friends got a job at a very fancy restaurant. I've eaten there once, and the waiters are on top of you a lot there. They fill your glass almost as soon as it's empty and fix your napkin if you leave the table. Now he took it even further, almost standing by the table the whole time the guests were eating. At one point he offered them a Snickers bar from his pocket that he had bought for himself. Suffice to say, he lost the job. Now he thought that what he was doing was professional, but he took it to an extreme. So some people can't tell what is professional and what isn't. Update. Wrote a post a while back about the creepy pizza delivery guy who turned up at my house late at night with pizzas for me that I didn't order. So I thought I'd provide an update for everyone who wanted one. After the night, the guy, I'll call him Bill for now, turned up at our house. Me and my partner went out for drinks a couple of weeks later and ended up in the pizza shop. We noticed immediately that Bill wasn't there, and I assumed that he was out delivering instead. Before we left though, the manager came out the back and said hello, and then apologized profusely about Bill's behavior and told us that he fired him. He was very thankful that we weren't boycotting the place, and I assured him that we wouldn't because it was really the best pizza around. I'm not sure how the manager found out about Bill bringing the pizzas to our house, but I informed the manager about everything else that happened that night. How late it was, Bill calling my phone, and the manager was furious to say the least. He assured us that he wouldn't be letting him work there again. And my partner and I went on our way and went home. A few months later, we moved house, unrelated to Bill, and never heard from him again, until he showed up one night at our house. He was delivering food for Uber Eats. I didn't want to take it further because we hadn't heard from him or seen him in months, so we just left it alone and went about our life. But then, a few months later, I was going through my message requests on Facebook, and I saw that somebody called Bill had been messaging me, or trying to, for months. I went into the messages and clicked his profile, and lo and behold, it was Creepy Bill. I blocked him immediately, and then I decided I'd report him to Uber Eats. So I filed a complaint about him, and I haven't heard anything since. But yeah, I have no idea how he found me on Facebook and how he knew my surname, but he did, and tried to message me for months. So that's the update. Creepy stuff. Now this update makes me even more confident that this story is fake. The fact that the manager magically found out about what Bill had done, the fact that he now worked for Uber Eats, the fact that he tried to message her on Facebook. The only thing that's missing from this is him trying to kidnap someone. Maybe that happens if we get another update. Now, on the note of people showing up to your house uninvited, I worked at a convenience store in a shopping mall. We sold baked goods that we would have to throw away at the end of the shift, and I would go around the nearby area asking people if they wanted baked goods. Sometimes I would duck under the gate if I saw that somebody was there and asked if they wanted something. They would always appreciate it, but I would always feel a little bit weird about doing that. So I could not imagine going to somebody's house, even if I had free stuff to give them. So if you're a delivery guy and you want to give somebody you might be interested in free stuff, don't go to their home. Very few people appreciate somebody showing up uninvited to their house, especially if they don't know you. There's a reason why people find Joe Goldberg in You creepy. This is kind of what the whole bear versus man thing is about. Some guys are just not aware how they're making women feel, and unfortunately it has something to do with perception of attractiveness. If you're average looking or not attractive, you kind of have to be more aware of how you act. I'm probably guilty of this myself. There was this girl who, every time I offered her baked goods, she would tell me she wanted plain croissants. And when I saw that she was at work, and if I didn't spot her when I walked by with baked goods, like she was in the back doing something, I would duck under the gate and leave them on the counter. This could maybe have been perceived as creepy to her, and made her uncomfortable rather than appreciative. There was also this girl who made me feel uncomfortable. She always flirts, and when I gave her baked goods, she was a little bit too appreciative, like I was giving her an expensive gift or something. But this was more about me not wanting to give her the wrong idea, rather than what women have to worry about, which is getting murdered. So guys, try and think about what you're doing, try and not make women feel uncomfortable, and that's where we're gonna end it. I hope you enjoyed this Reddit story. I'm still working a little bit on the format. I'm not sure if I'm gonna shoot in with my own comments like I did in this video, or if I'm gonna leave the comments at the end of the video. But thank you for watching. Bye!